Imagine this, you're at a party and someone asks, what do you do? Seems innocent enough, right? But what if this simple question sent you into an existential crisis? This is precisely what happened to a Chilean man encountered by Simon Stoltzfus, a Labour journalist. His bewildered response, what do you mean, what do I do? Do you mean what kind of underwear I'm wearing? This humorous anecdote highlights a serious issue, our tendency to over-identify with our jobs. We live in a society, particularly in the US, where our work often defines us. From a young age, we're asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? The emphasis is on being, not doing. This ingrained mentality can lead to our jobs becoming the sole source of our identity, leaving us vulnerable to burnout and unfulfilled lives. But what if we rejected this narrow definition of ourselves? What if we saw our jobs as simply one aspect of our multifaceted lives? Poet Anis Mogani offers a refreshing perspective. To love your life, you don't have to love your job. He argues that work is neither more nor less noble than other activities. Mogani's words encourage us to diversify our sources of meaning, much like diversifying a stock portfolio. Just as relying on a single investment is risky, so too is relying solely on work for fulfillment. We need to cultivate a range of interests and passions that nourish our souls and bring us joy, independent of our professional lives. The consequences of over-identification with work are real and pervasive. Burnout, a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged exposure to overwhelming stressors, is a global epidemic. A staggering 48% of workers worldwide report experiencing burnout. While vacations and time off are often touted as solutions, they merely offer temporary respite. They fail to address the root cause, our dependence on work for identity and meaning. True liberation from burnout requires a more fundamental shift in our relationship with work. So how do we break free from this work-centric worldview? One powerful approach is to create sanctuaries in our lives. Inspired by the Jewish Sabbath, these are dedicated times and spaces where work is off limits. Think of it as carving out sacred moments for activities that bring you joy and rejuvenation. This requires intentional effort. It's not enough to simply hope for free time to magically appear. We need to schedule these sanctuaries into our weeks, just like we schedule meetings and appointments. We need to disconnect from work emails, silence our phones, and fully immerse ourselves in these non-work activities. Section 5. Small steps, big impact, diversifying your life. Diversifying your life doesn't require monumental changes. It can start with small, manageable steps. Take a 15-minute walk in nature, dust off that old guitar, or join a local book club. The key is to choose activities that genuinely interest you, not just things you think you'd be doing. Once you've identified these activities, seek out communities that share your passions. Join a hiking group, a pottery class, or a volunteer organization. These connections will provide support, accountability, and a sense of belonging, further enriching your life beyond work. Section 6. A stronger you, a stronger society, the ripple effect. The benefits of diversifying your identity extend far beyond your personal well-being. When you cultivate a range of interests and passions, you become a more well-rounded and engaged member of society. You bring a broader perspective to conversations, develop empathy for others, and are more likely to contribute to your community in meaningful ways. This shift from a solely work-centric identity to a more holistic one strengthens the very fabric of our society. Is Section 7. Reframing the conversation, moving beyond what do you do? Let's challenge ourselves and others to move beyond the limiting question of what do you do. Instead, let's ask questions that invite people to share their passions, interests, and values. Try asking, what are you passionate about, or what brings you joy? These questions encourage a more holistic view of identity, acknowledging that our worth extends far beyond our job titles. Section 8. The power of integration, bringing your whole self to life. The goal is not to abandon work altogether, but to integrate it into a richer, more meaningful life. When we nurture our passions and interests outside of work, we return to our jobs refreshed, re-energized, and with renewed creativity. We're better able to problem solve, think critically, and contribute at a higher level. In essence, by investing in our whole selves, we become more valuable assets to our workplaces as well. Section 9. Conclusion. Embracing a multifaceted identity. Your job is not your identity, it's simply one chapter in the ongoing story of your life. By diversifying your sources of meaning, you create a richer, more resilient, and ultimately more fulfilling narrative. Embrace your multifaceted self, explore your passions, nurture your interests, and connect with your community. In doing so, you'll discover a world of possibilities beyond the confines of your job title, and you'll unlock a deeper, more authentic sense of self-worth.